Hello and welcome to another Super Play magazine look back. This one is issue 12 from October 1993, still priced at £2.25. The cover isn't actually a specific game. It's based around a feature where we're going to be looking at a few of the upcoming RPGs slash adventure games for the console, and just already looking at the cover, we've got quite a few well-known titles here. So anyway, that's enough about looking at the cover. Let's talk about what's inside. So first things first, there is an advert here for an RPG called Lagoon. It is a game I've played fairly recently, but I'm not that keen on it, so I did get rid of it. I only had it cart only, I think on American, but I couldn't get into it at all. But anyway, that's enough of that. Here we have got the editorial page as per usual, and then again the contents. So again, still set out as it always is every month, you know, with your reviews on one side and your little regular features down the side, and then you've got a few big main monthly features here. So the big one is going to be looking at some of these RPGs and adventure games. So first big news story, game prices, good news and bad. When will our suffering end? Now, everyone knows the price of games in the 16-bit era was really expensive. We put it down to cartridge costs. So sometimes for a new release you could spend up to £60 on it. You know, something like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2, things like that when they came out. Obviously, if you wanted to import your games, you could pay even more than that. So it was always in the news, you know, we want cheaper games, we want cheaper games. Eventually, you did get a bit of a budget range, because back then the games didn't seem to drop in price, you know, as quick as they do now, you know. But that's a whole, well, you could almost do a whole podcast topic on that, so it's not really the right place for me to discuss it at the moment. But yeah, no doubt it'll get touched upon again, you know, like at some point when I'm going through these magazines. Anyway, different editor now, James Leach. Pretty sure he was the launch editor of Games Master magazine, which started a little bit earlier than Super Play. Well, around that time I should say, sorry. And anyway, we've got a new bundle. The best way to buy a SNES, the Super Mario All-Stars pack. Well worth it. Granted, only one controller, but loads and loads of hours of fun on the cartridge there. And then we've got a bit of news here on Mario and Wario. Again, not played it, so I can't really comment. A bit of news on the Future Entertainment Show. Desert Fighter game was something that I did own years ago. Can't really remember much about it. So I can't really comment, unfortunately. And then what have we got here? 4 long-awaited conversions. So we've got Flashback coming out, Cool Spot, Lemmings 2 and Soccer Kid. I think all of those on the Amiga. I'm not 100% on Cool Spot. You know, if anyone knows if it did come out on the Amiga, please let me know. All of them had, pretty sure all of them had Mega Drive conversions as well. I'm not 100% on Soccer Kid. Anyway, then we've got a special bit of news here on Konami's New Year lineup. So Lethal Enforcers, based on the arcade cab, Legend of Mystical Ninja 2, Action Twinbee, Turtles Tournament Fighters, so a few big games there. Back when Konami used to just do so many great things. Excuse me. So next up we've got Namco going through some of their games, Pack Attack, Metal Marines. Not a bad strategy game that, but I'll mention that when we get to a review of it. Aero the Acrobat. Then we've got the Live from Hell City, again with your latest Japanese news. Super Play Hot List, what people are playing. So looking at this, it's still Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Mortal Kombat, Battletoads, Mario All-Stars again, and Super Air Diver, a game I've never played, so I can't really comment. And then we've got a bit of news here on World Heroes, and then a feature on a few different pads and accessories, what they thought about them. Then we've got some news on a couple of film tie-ins here, Jurassic Park and Aladdin, and then also Impossible Mission 2025, the special edition. I don't know if this eventually came out. You know, originally Impossible Mission was on Commodore 64, but I don't recall ever seeing it. Then we've got an advert for Pop and Twinbee, which has now got its UK release, which is a fantastic shoot 'em up, really colourful. Another advert there for Cybernator. So yeah, a couple of Konami games, really good Konami games as well. So then we've got, speak of a devil, I say that, last night we recorded our Gremlin episode and we mentioned Zool. So bit of news here about the conversion coming out on the Super Nintendo. And then underneath we've got the Blabbermouth with Chris and Tell, all your game gossip. And then on to Anime World. Again, still recognise a load of these back then. Ultimate Teacher, Judge, 3x3 Eyes. You know, they were so popular around the time. I seem to remember Manga Mania magazine / comic coming out around this time. Anyway, just carry on through the magazine. So here we've got a bit of news on Darius Force. Not really up on my shooter, so I can't really comment too much. And then basically Super Play's birthday bit. So it's now been going for 1 year. So what have we got here? It's asking what each staff member would love for their birthday. You know, if they could get a present. And then we've got a bit of feature here on the fanzines as usual. Again, like 50-60p. You know, it's I used to try and make my own magazines when I was a kid. I mean, that's one reason why I like the podcasts, but to get 50-60p for them, or sometimes a quid, it's not too much. Anyway, that's a different story altogether. So here we've got the survey results from a few issues back and some quiz answers for, again, a few issues back. Then we've got the charts, Starwing and Street Fighter 2 Turbo leading the charts there. Street Fighter 2 Turbo doesn't surprise me. And then we've got Kelly Sumner from Game Tech being interviewed. I'm not going to go through the entire interview. And then we've got Zap, the import specialists type thing. 150 quid for an American an American Super Nintendo. 70 quid for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Sorry, for Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And what have we got here? Mortal Kombat 55 quid. Super Bomberman 60 quid. You got to have P&P onto that as well, so we are talking quite a bit. Anyway, next up we've got Fantasy Quest. So a bit of news there on Secret of Mana, Breath of Fire. What else have we got? Madara 2. Never ever heard of that, so I'm not up on it one bit. And then again, the news goes on, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. It's just loads and loads of RPG goodness, you know. Mother 2, oh god, yeah, there is a lot. Anyway, going on to the actual reviews. Now, what I said before about Lagoon, I didn't think it was that great a game, just quite sluggish to get into. If down here it got 56%, so really not a great RPG at all. So I don't regret getting rid of that. Next up, Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master I used to absolutely love on my Atari ST. Brilliant game. It was like one of the first sort of like RPG type games I've ever played. I did have it on Super Nintendo, but I did get rid of it because you can't use the mouse. Something that is quite annoying because obviously you're using your can't get words out. Using your pointer, using it on a control pad, so it's a bit more cumbersome. 88% though for giving that, which isn't too bad. I think if you could have used a mouse, I also reckon to do giving that like 90% definitely. And then just to round up the RPG bit, we've got some news on Lord of the Rings, Might and Magic, and Mystic Quest, and a couple of others, Ogre Battle and stuff. Moving on. Next review is Yoshi's Safari. One of the few games that used the Super Scope, and really one of the better games that used it. Something I've actually never played, I'm going to be honest. 69% though, so as Super Scope games go, that's quite good. Now, this game is one of my favourites still of all time. Zombies Ate My Neighbours. are just zombies in the UK. Before Ate My Neighbours was a bit too full on for the UK audience. 89%. This was in my top 5 Super Nintendo games when we did the episode, God, about 6 or 7 months ago now. Absolutely fantastic. I think to get it, probably cart only, you can probably pay about 20, 25 quid. If you want it boxed, you do have to pay a bit more, but it's fantastic. If you've not played it, well worth checking out. And then on to another great game, Rock'n'Roll Racing. 88% they've given this. 3D isometric type viewpoint. You've got a few different cars to choose from, a few different races, get weapons for your car, and just basically win the race and get more money and get around the courses. Nice and simple. Fantastic rock soundtrack, classic rock, and a lot better on the Super Nintendo than the Mega Drive. I bought this probably about a year and a half ago now. And God, how much did I pay for it? About 25 quid. I think you probably would pay a little bit more now. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if it's hitting about £40. Next up, game that is alright, you know, but it's not one I'm bothered about owning. Sunset Riders, 87%. Now, to get this boxed on PAL does cost you quite a lot of money. Unless you really get lucky and find it out in the wild somewhere. Sometimes now you're probably looking at about 150 quid, if not more, which is absolutely crazy. But people want it. It's a game by Konami, and it is a good game based on the arcade machine as well. So, yeah, if you've not played it, well worth having a look anyway. Then we've got Kevin Keegan's Player Manager. Now, I like my football management games. This one isn't that great. 59% down here. And I remember renting out from, well, Ritz, I think it was back then, you know, Video Shop, which became Blockbuster. But yeah, not great. And then next up we've got Claymates, a game that I did own for a little while but traded it in quite quickly. I was aware of Clay Fighter, I thought, great, Claymates, bit of a platform game, this should be okay. Yeah, it's not great. 79%, looks nice but not really one for me. And then next up we've got Ren and Stimpy, who were popular at the time. By THQ, the company that I rip into all the time. Although, for them, 47% isn't that bad. You know, it might be worth a rent for a day or two, but yeah, it's not something I've ever owned. Then we've got the 2-page spread here for manga video, Mind Expanding. So obviously you've got a face coming out of his head there. And then we've also got a feature on the Nintendo Hotline. That was really popular. Back then you obviously didn't have the internet with all your game FAQs and things, so you had to ring the premium rate number to ask for help, really, on some of these levels, you know, help for Zelda, Star Fox and stuff like that. And then we've got another game called Out to Lunch, which again is in the Super Play Top 100, 84%. I've had a bit of a go on this and it's not bad, quite a nice simple type platformer, you know, easy to pick up. And then we've got a player's guide for Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario Collection. So going through all the levels there. I have it here for SNES Magazine, didn't last that long. Then we've got the Super Air Diver, that was mentioned a bit earlier, 51%, not fantastic. Super Back to the Future Part 2, never played it, it's not meant to be that great. They've given it 61%, so not awful, but obviously not brilliant either. And then we've got Rocky Road, and another platform game, 50%, never played it, so I can't really comment on that. And then we've got a couple of other games here. We've got Super Widget, I don't know if anyone remembers the cartoon, we gave that 54%, not the type of thing I'm bothered about. Japanese Pro Wrestling though, 78%. Now some of these Japanese wrestling games were quite good, because the WWF ones, you know, they had like the limitations and you seem to get more enjoyment from the Japanese ones. Then we're going on to Game Freak, with again all the questions and answers, and again we've still got this daydreaming where you'd write in with your game ideas and then they'd give their thoughts. Then we've got the Mode 7 for cheats and you ask AD. So we've got Super Star Wars there. Load of codes here for Lost Vikings. A fantastic game if you've not played it. And then we've got a guide here for Street Fighter 2 Turbo Cheats. Sorry about that. Just basically going through how to do some of the moves, a few tips and things like that. So not really a massive guide, just a little bit. And then next up, just to as we approach the end, we've also got the playback, you know, the letters and the envelope art. So I've had some fantastic artwork here on the envelopes. I mean, that one's brilliant. I can't draw for toffee, as the saying goes. But yeah, anyway, what's hot and what's not? CD-ROM debate, hot, and whether or not you agree with our reviews. And then what's not? Street Fighter 2 boss codes, your poetry, and Chun-Li M. Bison. So I think that was something to do with the did M. Bison kill Chun-Li's dad, I seem to remember. And then we've basically got letters all about the Nintendo CD-ROM. So more or less a full page there. Have it for Games Master Magazine. Then we've got What Cart, which again still is the same every single month. Well, with, you know, previous months' reviews added in, I should say. And then we've got Super Play Classic number 3, Super Castlevania 4, 91%, fantastic game, amazing music, and I'm sure a lot of you have played it by now. And then, we've also got the, Nico, about to be lowered into Jurassic Park if you don't subscribe. And then also issue 1 of Super Players also sold out, so 1 and 3 were the first ones to sell out, and I think obviously they do cost quite a bit to get nowadays, especially if you want them in good condition. And then next month page there, and the last one advertising Striker again. So that was issue 12, just a quick look. Hope you're enjoying watching the videos. Again, massive shout out to everyone who does, appreciate it. It's great to hear your memories of Super Play as well. And yeah, just please comment, like, subscribe to the channel. It means that I'm doing something right. Okay, thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.